Lately, I've been considering myself an altruist, coined by Comte in the 1830s, a person who does things for others with less concern for himself or herself. I think that I've been living by that in many parts of my life. Naturally, sometimes I will take decisions to go buy an ice cream instead of putting those coins with a homeless person or a beggar. But all in all, with the great structures of life and how I think about things, I would consider myself an altruist. This comes with the fuming rage at times when I see people who act out only on behalf of themselves, with the result that others are punished or are set in pain. People who are in the position of being entitled to things because, their inheritance set them on this path that, of course, I should be able to do these things to these people and still run the course and become what I was supposed to be without consequences of what that means and how other people see that, how other people understand that. And it's infuriating to live in a time, in a culture where the negative is rewarded, and it comes, like the negative actions comes without consequence, both in what we call the moral and the legal world, but also in the self-consciousness. That people can do things and say things and attack other people without the slightest idea or care for how that person feels and thinks about that on a cultural, broadness of things. And I guess what I'm saying, it could be attributed to a lot of things. But somehow I land in the philosophical questioning of myself of what is right. What is right? Not just what the law says, but what is morally right. And that can be something in the middle that spans out depending on who you are and what you grew up with. But in the simplest of world, of what I've figured out myself, is it all comes down to kindness. Are you a kind, decent person to another person, regardless of how that person acts or what that person believes in or thinks or acts out on? And do you also take into consideration how that person feels when you say something, when you go against something? If I don't feel that I have the same values as you on social media, I often feel that the difference between you and I is that I also consider what you're thinking and what you're feeling and where you come from. The classic Luke, Darth Vader, there is good in him. But I don't feel that you think like that, because you are set on this is right. This is what my political affiliation thinks. And then I just feel like, why are you confusing the feelings you have for your football team, which is a natural thing because it's geographical to where you live, to the social political world where you can decide on your own what to feel and what to think and what to believe, even if it goes against your parents or the geographical place that you live in. But and I feel like that way too. Am I wrong about this? Or is the other person just so dead set that he or she doesn't care if he or she is morally right, as long as they're right? And it fumes me when you can't use logic and the direction of moral to have a discussion about things. When it's all ego, it's all about me. I don't care what happens to those people as long as I'm good. And I wonder what happened in the lives of these people that made them like this, that made them bitter, self-centered, and just doesn't care about other people. It's saddening. And at the same time, it feels like the extent of what I can do is discuss, shout, use my voice and shout loud. Whereas in the opposite situation, you can use violence. And that for me is really the distinction between good and evil. Because the good use the terms that they have to, but not to an extent that it goes too far, whereas the evil will just do whatever it takes, regardless of consequences. So we're moving into more and more a world where we need to talk to each other and not just think that we understand what the person is writing in texts. We need to talk to each other. The promise of the internet, the fact that we were able to talk to each other across borders without the interference of leaders, malice or good. And we need to do that more in order to understand each other. Yes, we come from different places, both geographically and culturally, but somewhere, I believe, somewhere in the line of everything, there is a center which is kindness and decency. That sometimes, or most of the time, if I had the word, needs to be the guiding direction of where we go as humans on this planet. Because we're not born with the same privileges. We aren't. We have to accept that. Being born in Sweden is in many ways probably better than being born in another place. At the same time, being born in Sweden means that you need to have your apartment and it's difficult to get in line for this and this and that. Whereas really all we really need is food and protection and living happy lives. If that means buying a sports car or just finding, a stick on the beach and have fun with that, doesn't matter. We just need to raise our voices and not trust that our leaders will solve everything. Because as we know, since the last year or two, that is so not the case in so many places in the world. I hope some of this made sense to you. I'm just frustrated by the culture that is trying to break down the kindness and the decency, which I think is that one thing that sort of should be something that we all stem from and that we live our life based on. So thank you for watching this. Good talk.